In this video, I'm going to share with you what I believe is the most alarming and dangerous idea and proposal that the Trump transition team and Trump himself reportedly are considering for our country. Stay with me. You don't want to miss this. Hello, everybody. I'm attorney Augustus Corbett, one half of the Defiant Lawyers. Each and every week, we bring you at least one legal analysis of some trending story regarding politics, policies, personalities, or pop culture to empower you with the information you need to defy this unjust legal system and to nullify systemic racism. If that interests you, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell so you'll get notified every time we upload one of these powerful and informative videos. Before I get started, please go to Amazon.com, grab a copy of my book, Education and Justice, to learn the many ways that public schools mistreat African-American males and what you can do to help your son. All right, so go over there and get your copy. You can thank me later. All right, so in this video, I'm going to share with you what I believe is absolutely the most dangerous and alarming idea that Trump and his transition team have come up with. Now, I want to take you to an article. So you see the headline of this article says, Trump draft executive order which create board to purge generals. Wow. I don't know if that's ever been done before. And by the way, we don't know if this is true, but the Wall Street Journal is definitely a creditable organization. But if this is true, this is very alarming. This is the most alarming thing that I have heard to come out of the Trump transition team so far. And he hasn't even been sworn in yet. I mean, this is just the very beginning, and already something like this. Purging the military of certain generals. I'm going to share with you in just a moment why I believe that is so very dangerous for our country and for the world. All right, let's read a little bit of this article. So it says, the Trump transition team is considering a draft executive order that establishes, quote, a warrior board of retired senior military personnel with the power to review 3- and 4-star officers and to recommend removal of any deemed unfit for leadership. Now, we're getting ready to find out what they consider to be unfit for leadership. If Donald Trump approves the order, it could fast-track the removal of generals and admirals found to be lacking in requisite leadership qualities, according to a draft of the order reviewed by the Wall Street Journal. They're saying they've seen the draft. But it could also create a chilling effect on top military officers, given the president-elect's past vow to fire woke generals. Woke generals, referring to the officers seen as promoting diversity in the ranks at the expense of military readiness. Isn't that something? Woke. So this is a part of Trump's war on wokeism. Wow. And all that this is referring to is just trying to make the military inclusive, diverse, and equitable. That's, put it this way, that is only wrong to white supremacists. That's it. Now, I'm a military veteran, and I certainly do agree that the military needs to be ready, needs to be prepared for war and for, whatever comes our way. There's no question about that. And that should be top. But you can do both. You can do both. African Americans can absolutely and have proven time and time and time again with folks like General Colin Powell, with Lord Austin, with the current chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I think his name is Brown, General Brown. In fact, he's mentioned in this article. So these folks think that if you got a diverse basically, if you got African Americans in the military, then it's woke and it's not ready for war. That is crazy. We've been serving in the military since this country was founded. That is absolutely crazy. Goes on to say, as commander-in-chief, Trump can fire any officer at will, but an outside board whose members appoint would bypass the Pentagon's regular promotion system, signaling across the military that he intends to purge a number of generals and admirals. The draft order says it aims to establish a review that focuses on leadership capability, strategic readiness, and commitment to military excellence. The draft doesn't specify what officers need to do or present to show if they meet those standards. The draft order originated with one of several outside policy groups collaborating with the transition team and is one of numerous executive orders under review by Trump's team, a transition official said. So we know what the criteria is. The criteria is that you not be woke. Has nothing to do with this stuff here. Leadership capability, strategic readiness, commitment to military excellence. Has nothing to do with that. It has all to do with whether or not someone is considered woke and whether or not they are loyal to President-elect Donald Trump. That's what it amounts to. The article says the Warrior Board would be made up of retired generals and non-commissioned officers who would send their recommendations to the president. Those identified for removal would be retired at their current rank within 30 days. Caroline Levitt, the Trump-Vance transition spokeswoman, declined to comment on this draft order, but said the American people re-elected President Trump by a resounding margin, giving him a mandate to implement the promises he made on the campaign trail. He will deliver. Oh yeah, I'm not surprised that they're making that mandate argument, because they are certainly saying with the fact that he beat Kamala so decisively, based on what we know, then that means the American people are completely on board with his agenda. I doubt that very seriously, because I believe most Americans don't really know Trump's agenda. All right, I don't believe that. I know very few folks know about Project 2025. Very few people know about Agenda 47, the GOP platform. Unfortunately, many people who voted for Trump are not very knowledgeable about political matters. So I think they're going to find out what they actually did as he begins to implement his agenda. The establishment of the board would be in line with Trump's calls for purging what he views as failed generals, including those involved in the chaotic 2021 withdrawal from Afghanistan, according to people familiar with the policy discussions. Trump has said he would ask all generals involved in the withdrawal to resign by noon on Inauguration Day. Now, there's no mentioning here, and Trump never mentions it, nor his allies, that the Biden administration were pretty much caught in a trap because of an agreement that Trump had already made with the Taliban. All right, that's never mentioned. The president-elect previewed the move during a campaign event in October, telling an audience that he would create a task force to monitor the woke generals, there it is, and get rid of diversity training in the military. They're gone, Trump said of those generals, without naming specific officers. One feared potential target of Trump's threatening purge could be Air Force General C.Q. Brown Jr., the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, according to two defense officials. During the 2020 George Floyd protests, Brown spoke about the impact that movement had on him and what it was like to rise through the military ranks as a black fighter pilot. All right, so just because he shared the fact that he dealt with a lot of racism coming up the ranks, that is offensive to Trump. That is offensive to Trump. Just because, this is the man here, just because he shared around the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, the fact that he dealt with a lot of racism, that to Trump means he's woke and he needs to retire. Well, you know what? He probably is woke, and bravo that he's woke. Being woke is not a bad word. It's a good word. It means that you're conscious of racism and systemic oppression, and you don't hide it. I remember when he gave those remarks, I thought it was absolutely powerful for him to speak out around the George Floyd lynching. All right, now, let me share with you 4 reasons why this is so alarming and concerning to so many people, including myself. All right, let's go to another screen. So why does this ideal alarm so many people? Number 1, former Trump military officials confirm Trump's fascist tendencies. So, these generals know him best. And they were very much alarmed to the point where they absolutely would not support his candidacy to be reelected. All right. I did a video on that. So this is not made up. Former Trump officials who know him best. They warned the country not to reelect him. Also, it concerns me and others because yes men type of generals will seek to please Trump rather than protect and defend the Constitution. That's a serious issue. When you got military men around Trump who are so sycophantic of him, towards him, that they won't tell him the truth. They'll say what he wants to hear and try to make, despite the facts, try to make whatever he wants and thinks come to pass. You see, because Trump thinks that he knows more than the generals. It's done not one day in the military, but he thinks he knows more than they who've done 30 and 40 years and have risen up the ranks. So yes men would definitely be horrible. He needs some men who will stand up to him and say, no, Mr. President, that is not a good idea. That's unconstitutional. We can't do that, what have you. 3, Trump could use the military on American civilians. We know he asked former Secretary of Defense Mark Esper if he indeed could do just that. He wanted to do that around the George Floyd lynching because, in his opinion, those protests were out of order, and it's reported that he wanted to implement the Insurrection Act, which would have allowed him to get around the Posse Comitatus law that prohibits the use of our military against us as American citizens. And the last thing, he would have absolute personal control of the biggest and most lethal guns in our military. So he would control the government and the guns. Again, this is getting really, really close to authoritarianism. The military could be the only thing to save us from experiencing authoritarianism. But if he purges the generals who would stand up to him, and so he could replace them with yes men, that puts us and our country in serious jeopardy. Serious jeopardy. I think it is the most horrendous idea that we have heard so far coming from Trump and his team. It's deeply, deeply concerning. And we need to speak out. We need to let the country know we are not with this. We don't want this. And Congress needs to stand up. And those generals need to do what they have to do to prevent such a thing. Now, he is the president-elect. When he's sworn in, he will become the commander-in-chief. Right? There's no doubt about that. But doing something unconventional like this, they need to strongly, 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 strongly discourage it. And so does Congress. And so do we, the people. So I really, really hope that he does not do this. And if he tries to do it, I hope that Congress, the military, will do everything they can to prevent it. All right? I am Attorney Augustus Corbett, one half of the Defiant Lawyers. Thank you for watching this video, and until the next video, peace.